Hey babes, hello, hello, hello. Today is a little bit longer of a video, and I just want to go over, this is part 3 of Nick Godejohn's interrogation, and this has nothing to do with conspiracy. This has nothing to do with her. She just happened to be the first one I came across that said this, okay? And this is no hate towards her. Again, I have no hate towards anybody, and I have no beef with anybody except for liars and schmurderers, okay? So I'm going to rewind this a little bit, right? Just so you can hear the point that I'm about to make in the video, okay? Again, this has nothing to do with the lady that's actually speaking. I don't know her, but it has... She asked a question, kind of a statement question, but I'm going to clarify that, and so is Nick. So here we go. Let me turn this up, make sure you can hear.
Nick only stabbed Dee Dee 4 times. I want to hear your argument as to why you think that.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to show you through me and spirit and through Nick Godejohn's own words and the detective's words, okay?
Because I'm working on a YouTube video right now on those theories that are now circulating. And most of what I've seen is that this stems from Nick's interrogation, where he says he only stabbed her 4 times. However, if you listen to his full interrogation and go past that part, he later clarifies that he isn't counting the wounds that weren't deep. And we know from his trial, where they're discussing the autopsy, that not all of the wounds were stab wounds. Some of them are called incised wounds, which is basically the result of like scratching or dragging something across the...
Like trying to move somebody. Okay, so let's get into my video. Hey babes, hello, hello, hello. So I do have a fan on. I apologize, but it's like 1,000 degrees today. So this is part 3 of spiritually reading Nick's interrogation, okay? I had to go back a little bit because Spirit told me to, and I have all of this. So we're gonna be here for a while. It starts off with the detective asking where the knife came from, and she asked him if he brought it from, you know, his home, and he says no, she bought it for me. Where'd she get it? He says online. And then he says, or wait, no, it wasn't online. I gotta get that straight, right? And she said, yeah, don't lie, because you're going to get Gypsy in trouble over a lie. Like, how, oh my God, we don't want to get the murderer in trouble, right? Okay. So, where are we? Going to get her in trouble over a lie. He says, I know. She somehow found a way to get one. So, I underlined that because I feel like by him saying one, that it was more than one in the pack that she stole. Just an observation, right? Everything here is alleged. This is all my personal feelings and plausibilities, and for entertainment purposes only, and for educational purposes only, and everything is allegedly. So yeah, okay. At Walmart, he describes it as red and black handled and describes the knife as jaggedy, right? Which is funny because I looked at those crime scene pictures and the cuts, the smab wounds were very... It didn't look rigidy, okay? That's all I'm trying to say. It don't actually fit the crime scene photos, his description that I saw. She says, you've never stabbed anyone before. He says, she was the only person I would do that for. So, he says that Dee Dee was on her stomach, right? And that Dee Dee, she said, where was Dee Dee when you schmabbed her, right? And there's this long, awkward pause. She says, was it on the floor? Was it in the bathroom, right? And Nick struggles to answer this question. Why would you struggle to answer this question? That don't make sense. You understand? Like, he gets real uncomfortable. He's like, I gotta think about this. He starts drinking water. Very long pause. Nick struggles to answer where she was when he stabbed her. Nick takes a drink. Detective, take your time. She was on the bed, her bed. Why are you struggling with that little detail that is supposed to be like a known fact? You know what I'm saying? Very odd. And she was sleeping on her stomach with no covers. Now I'm going to add a little piece here because I don't remember if they said it already. But he says, I'm just adding an extra piece here that I did write somewhere later on. But he says, Dee Dee tried to fight him off. But I don't buy that. Hold on. Let me just mark where I'm at. Take your time on her stomach. Okay. So I don't buy that because Dee Dee was found like with her hands like under her. Like under her. And if she would have went like this, there would have been spillage and leakage marks going down her sides. And there was zero. There was zero of that. He says there was no covers on her. And he says something very awkward. He says there was no covers on her, so it was easy access to her party. I could take that a few ways. One being, it was easy for me to just do what I'm doing. But even if she had a blanket over her, it should be fairly easy with a brand new sharp knife, right? So, or there was some type of party that happened. He says now that he stabbed her first, right, in the back. In back, first stabbed 4 times. And he puts his fingers up 4 times. He's adamant. He knows, right? He's confident in this to put these 4 fingers up and say 4 times, right? And then he was so adamant. Hold on. That he says the 4th one, not all 4, the 4th one went into her lung because it got stuck and it was harder to take out. Okay? Very confident when he says this, as if he knows exactly what he's saying. Others came out easy, but that one came out hard. That's what she says. He says, yep. Now she says, are you sure about the 4 times? He says, yes. He said, but I did cut her. Okay. 1 other time. Now, I know from looking at those crime scene photos, there was multiple slices on the back of her neck, behind her ear. There was 2. There was one here, a really, really deep one. Okay. And when he says that, he points to the back of the neck. He's adamant, he's confident, and he knows what he's talking about. Okay. So this is where I'm going to clarify, where I see all these TikTok videos saying, oh no, at first he says 4, but he switches it up. Well, why did he switch it up? I'm going to show you why he switched it up. And he points to the neck. Did Dee Dee scream or holler? Yes. What was she saying? First she said help, and who are you? Then she called for Gypsy. But Gypsy didn't do anything. He says that part so fast. But Gypsy didn't do anything. Okay? I have a hard time believing this. Why? Because he says she yelped. Yelped. You know what a yelp is? It's a yelp. It's a yelp. It's a small noise. Okay? A yelp is a small noise. Okay? For Gypsy. But describes a scream. Okay, so after he says yelp, yeah, it was more like a yelp. Now he's saying, Gypsy! Now he's describing a scream, okay? Number one, a mother who don't know or recognize her attacker, right, wouldn't bring attention to a child that's in the house, right? And number two, if she was stabbed in the lung by the fourth stab, 1, 2, 3, 4, that was less than 3 seconds, okay? She wouldn't be able to yell. It would be a yelp. Upset. Right? Okay. By the fourth stab, she wouldn't be able to scream. 3, her scream/yelp wouldn't have been loud enough to reach the bathroom where Gypsy allegedly was covering her ears with the door closed. Okay. With the door closed, covering her ears. Hold on. Okay, now she leads him to be aware that there were more stab wounds. How? Watch this. She said, "Did you stab her more than 4 times?" He's like, "Not that I'm aware of." "Did Gypsy come in and stab her?" Now he's like, "Oh. So maybe there's more stab wounds, right?" And then she says, peep this, okay? Now he realizes there are more. No, Gypsy couldn't do it. When you say 4 actual stabs, when you said 4 actual stabs, he didn't say 4 actual stabs. He never actually said that, okay? He never said 4 actual stabs. Are those the ones that went deeper? Remember that? Deeper? When you said 4 actual stabs, he never said 4 actual stabs. He said 4 times. Okay? Here, I wrote it down somewhere. It's in here somewhere. I just said it. Okay. In the back, 4 times as he put 4 fingers up. He never said, "Yeah, I stabbed her 4 actual times." He never said that. Okay? So she's giving him extra words like this. Are those the ones that went in deeper? Now she planted that deeper in his head, right? Now watch this. Now he is 100% sure that there are more stab wounds. Yeah, there might have been. He's not sure no more. He went from confident, very confident, to might have been. I don't know. Now I'm not sure now. I don't know what's going on. I mean, you're switching everything up, Oh, I'm sorry. Whew, it's so hot in here. I'll take a hair moment. Hold on. Whew. All right, so now he says, "I counted the ones that went in deep." You just said, stabbed her 4 times, and I cut her once. Stabbed her 4 times, and I cut her once. I stabbed her 4 times and cut her once. When you said it actually went in deeper, yeah, those are the ones I counted that were deep. I don't buy that. Okay. She gave him the words to say. Okay. And that was at 34 minutes, a little bit before 34 minutes and 1 second. Okay. So if there's any other, you just didn't count them because they were in deep? Yeah. He says, "I can't remember where the deep ones were because maybe I blocked it out." But that's a lie, because he already admitted where the deep one was. The 4. He said the 4th one went in deep into her lung and it got stuck. Now she's twisting everything up. This boy is, he's, how you call it, delirious from being sleep deprived, okay? And she is giving him words and he's going with it, okay? He already admitted where his deep one went in besides the cut on the neck. Questioned if Gypsy had sex with her dead body, because we all know she's into that. Ugh. He mentions Dee Dee tried to fight him off, but I believe that was a lie. Because of not only the way her hands were, and if he was like over her, I don't know if he was on the side of the bed or if he like climbed up on top of her, but regardless, you can tell that she didn't go like this because she would have had spillage of blood, and there wasn't. She didn't go like this because there was no spillage of blood on that mattress pad nor the bed, okay? None. Cleaned up such as anything that had memories of her. She took pictures away and threw them in the trash. She tried to make it look like she didn't live there. So again, everything he's saying is literally just displacing her away from the actual crime scene, right? There was no mention of cleaning blood, and then she brings it up. Did you clean blood? Yes. Now listen to this. I believe it must. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Hold on. Hold on. This is what he says. After he says, yes, we did clean up blood. We, not her. We, okay? I believe it must have been mine. It must have been my blood that we were cleaning. Or was this from the first crime scene that you didn't realize because, you just went straight back there and did what you did? You didn't get to see all the extra stuff that was happening, until after it happened, right? It must have been mine. I believe it must have been mine because I stabbed myself. So he cut his hand, his right hand. And he's lefty, I also noticed that. And he's not sure. He's not sure whose blood he was cleaning up. By saying it must have been mine, that means you're not sure. And then the way he describes this cleanup, it wasn't just a few drops of blood, okay? Literally, his little cut on his finger, right, allegedly had more blood spillage than the actual 17 stab wounds that Dee Dee had. Come on, guys. Come on, use your noggins, right? Now he says, for a while, we cleaned the blood together. Remember, he demanded me to clean it in the nude. No, you wanted to. You wanted to, because you don't want to ruin your clothes. And they used the red bottle. And she asked what kind of bottle. He says it's liquid. It's not even a spray bottle. Okay, so she says he poured it, not sprayed it. She poured it onto wherever the blood was. He didn't say she poured it onto the little drops of blood that I dropped. No, he made it seem like there was a lot of blood and it had to be poured all over the place, okay? And that she used paper towels, no rags, which I thought was weird, he said, and wipies, okay? So she mentions a big drop, right? In one of the parts in her interrogation, she mentions a big drop. And I think that happened when they were moving Dee Dee elsewhere. And I think the blood did not come from her back. I think it came from her face, okay? She wanted to have sex with him, so he did. So it wasn't, she was Ard. She wanted to have schmecks after the brutal murder of her mother in the same house, I believe, in the same bed and room, okay, but we'll get into that in a minute, in her bedroom. It was 100% consensual. Now listen to this is important. We did the back side, we did vag, the front side, and we did Okay. Um, three things they described, right? Three, A-V-O. Yeah. Um, just remember those three. Um, and it wasn't her first time having schmecks. Gypsy took him into the boys' bathroom in the theater back in the day, back in March, and he didn't have a choice. See, I said before that I feel like there was another man there, and that Nick was the front man. This is the one that looks presentable, so this is what I'm going to show my mother. But there was another person there. That's what Spirit's telling me. And I believe she did something with this person and then did it with this person. So, that's just my opinion. She gave him money and $400 that first time to get to the theater, and then she did it again for the schmurder, another 400. So this is over 3 times now that we know that Gypsy has stolen money from her mother, and not just money, her pain pills, and this is federal, okay, and that she had to go to a post office to send this money to him in March and June, okay, so she was out and about, okay. He's saying he guesses that they had sex on Tuesday, but he wasn't there till Wednesday. Um, she had a brown wig on when they were having schmecks. The bed was full of stuffed animals, he said. And he said we threw them all on the floor. But the crime scene photos, right? Just go to my community tab, scroll down until you see Happy Birthday Gypsy, and hit that. All the crime scene photos are there. Now, he says we threw all the stuffed animals on the floor. But Gypsy's bedroom still had all the stuffed animals on the bed. But you know what there was in Dee Dee's room? There was a pillow and a blanket that was freshly laid on top of, okay, because he says Dee Dee had no blankets on her, right? But in the crime scene photos, Dee Dee's covered all the way up to her neck. And after she's covered, there's a spot where there's a pillow and a little blanket there, right next to her head, with indents in it. There's one by her feet, another blanket laid across with indents in it this way, and there's another, third spot on the floor with a pillow and a blanket and a paddle. 3 different spots in Dee Dee's room. 2 on her bed, 1 on the side of the bed with pillows. And indents. Okay. You be the judge of that, okay? So now, where are we? The stuffed animals on the bed still, but also it shows the blankets and pillows in 3 different spots on Dee Dee's bed and floor, which match the 3 things they just did: A, V, and O. Okay. Get this. Hold on. He didn't ejaculate. He said he couldn't. Why? Because he wasn't into the same nasty crap that Gypsy's in, with her demented mindset, okay? He didn't feel pleasure, he said. Hello? That means he was grossed out by all of this, and she was just living it up. This was like her element. He didn't feel pleasure because he wasn't into what Gypsy was into. Hello, necrophilia. And that's why they kept asking if he had schmecks with Dee Dee, and then they started asking, did Gypsy have schmecks with Dee Dee's dead body? And he was like, no. How would you know if you were in the cab for over 45 minutes? Now listen, it gets deeper here. After she blew him, they stopped because there was a lot of packing to do, and then finished cleaning like the fingerprints using disinfectant wipes. She did this herself. Her house is not neat. It was a pigsty. Do you remember seeing a Barney doll? He repeats it, a Barney doll? Right? Like in a questionable manner. Barney? He said, yeah. It was in her room. Right? Very adamant, straightforward, right? It was in Gypsy's room. That's where I remember. Then he said, wait, let me think about this. Takes a long pause again, just like he did when he couldn't remember where Dee Dee was when he stabbed her. He said, wait, I'm thinking about this now. He's not sure where this is going. He don't know why she asked about a Barney doll. Long pause. He says, huh. Like he put it together. Huh. I don't remember seeing a Barney doll. Whoa. Okay, so we are now 1 hour into the interrogation. I think we have 1 more hour, maybe like 18 minutes left. I just have to stress this part because Spirit wants me to. When they say, oh no, when they say, people say he admitted the 4. Because he did. He was very adamant. He was very straightforward. He used hand gestures. He knew what he was talking about. Okay, he didn't start talking about, well, maybe another one went deeper, until the lady started feeding more thoughts into his head. Okay? And that's what I want this video to be about. This video is about, are those the only ones that went in deeper? Are those the ones that went in deeper? And now he's like, what? Yeah, it might have been. Like, it went from 4. And the last one was really deep. It got stuck in her lung. And I cut her once. So that's 5 injuries altogether. 2, it might have been. I don't remember. But you remembered that? But now you're not sure. You're not sure now because you're covering for Gypsy. Tell me your thoughts. I love you, babes.